Hello. Good morning, sir. Good morning, sir.
Making sure I'm there. Nothing else. Wait. I'm not able to. Just checking my video and making sure I'm there. That's all. I'll join when you start. Okay.
Good morning, ma'am. Ma'am, you're muted.
When you start. Okay.
Yes, madam.
Okay.
Hello, Dr. Girija. Good morning. Thank you for being here.
I'm on mute. So.
Good morning, Dr. Girija Vaidyanathan. This is Jaya here.
Hi.
Hi.
So many years since I
know. I was just thinking the same thing. Maybe my first round in health or second round. Was it 2000? Early 2000? When we were working in HIV together.
Amma, that's a long time ago. Good morning, Dr. Padmavati.
Good morning, Jaya. How are you?
I'm good. My glass power is changing, so I'm like pushing my glasses off.
Don't worry, I'm 60 and don't need these glasses, so I have to do the same thing. I'm 63 actually, and my glasses now seem to have a negative purpose, so they keep going up and down.
ஆமா அதனால இப்படி வச்சுனாதான் எல்லார் ஃபேஸும் அழகான ஃபேஸஸ் எல்லாம் நன்னா தெரியுது. இப்படி விட்டுட்டாக்க பிளர்டா சேஞ்ச் பண்ணலாம்.
I've given up now.
Anyway, இல்லனாக்கா ஒரு மாதிரி சின்ன எக்கி வச்சுட்டு பேசணும் இல்லனா. Anyway, so lovely that you were able to preside over this. Your name has been coming up practically every year. And then...
No, but I must say I'm highly unprepared. So you'll have to hear what I call a totally extempore speech. I have 2 grandchildren at home, a 2.5-year-old and a 2-month-old. So every time I sit down to read something, one either screams or runs on in front of me. So I basically decided this is too much of a family group, and I saw your last time speech. I really appreciated what all you said. So I just felt I'm going to say what I feel. It's easier for me to prepare.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Very humble. But it's yeah, at staff we've been like pushing this little engine along, I think, for quite some time now, thanks to all the
Can you
extraordinary.
believe I'm going to mention this, but the first time I was health secretary, second time it was discussed. I was there at the meeting, this was discussed, I don't know how. And I left health secretaryship before the function happened. Gopal Krishna Gandhi came for the first function. I just left. They called me and I couldn't attend. I still remember so clearly because I remember Keshav came for a meeting during your conference and we were discussing this at that time in 2012. So vivid in my memory. And all these things, time flies so fast.
Absolutely. Cherry.
We are already live.
Okay, fine.
Just FYI for all of you.
Dr. Mangla, I quickly wanted to check on the citations. Padikumbodhu, neenga citations kaamipedi.
Yeah, we will.
I don't have to follow.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Hi, Doctor. Hi, Venkatesh.
Hi.
How are you?
Fine, madam.
Hello, I also saw your speech and for the last function. So I'm already introduced to both of you. I'm introduced to you through that.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Venkatesh.
Morning, ma'am.
Good morning. இந்த தடவை நீங்க தான் நிறைய பேசணும்.
Ayyo.
I've already excused myself from speaking. Actually, if Padma had given me an excuse, I would have just come, shown my face and vanished. But since there is an obligatory chief guest speech.
It's actually so absolutely wonderful to have you because, you'll bring to this event, I think, all of your experience, Elia, from the field.
Definitely my interest. And I mean, it's something to join SCARF for something like all the now, whatever I work with, luckily after retirement, you do only what you want. It's really good. You don't have to do what you don't want.
Solunga sir.
I think she heard, so she said.
चलो चुपचाप गई.
Ma'am, you're audible.
Hello, hi.
Hi, ma'am.
कैसी है गिरजा? All well. बड़े तुम तो भैया चीफ गेस्ट हो, चीफ गेस्ट.
आप तो चीफ गेस्ट की भी बॉस है.
अरे यार तुम तो चीफ सेक्रेटरी थे स्टेट के.
Ma'am was my boss in health department.
Yeah, I
She's
mean,
always my boss mentally. So,
this is a surprise parcel.
How are you, Jaya?
I'm fine. This is such an unexpected pleasure and a privilege, Mrs. Karyali. So wonderful.
अरे यार तुम, because all of you are there, how I will not like to see you. I'm in Australia, but I had to see you guys. Huh?
We've all.
I see, ma'am, I see you more regularly now on Scarf Board than I've ever seen you. I think it's fantastic. Last 2 years.
You still didn't come for the dance festival, so this year if festival
I'm
happens, you have
just
to come.
explaining. I've got a lot of personal stuff. Hopefully, it'll all be sorted out by mid-April or May.
And I hope the temples will allow festivals. I think they have started allowing now. Isha had a huge festival. My goodness, I was seeing that. So if we have this May, 1st May, then you should be there.
Because everyone knows that 1st May is very special to ma'am.
Vasant Utsav in Kapali Koil, hai na?
I'm 1st July. So.
1st July, huh? Achha. So you got Jaya is there, you are there, and Padma is there. And now who else is coming? That's all? Chief guest is already there, so we can. Chief guest.
Yeah, I think we can start.
The awardees are also there. I can see most of them.
Yeah. But they did a good job, you know. We saw those movies and all, whatever they had done. My goodness. I went through when they showed the movies and things. I don't know whether those are the awards or something.
No, ma'am,
else.
this is the print awards.
Print awards, achha.
So, a very good morning to all of
Let's
you.
start.
And we are very happy that we are having this 9th edition of the Scarf Media for Mental Health Awards. This is the second time we are having it virtually, hopefully the last edition. And I'm Dr. Mangala, and I take great pleasure in inviting all of you on behalf of Scarf and the yeah. So good articles can be considered as immediate short-term weapons in our efforts to change this world. And so we are here to honor all those articles which we think have contributed quite effectively towards the cause of mental health in the past year. This award is for articles that have been published between 2020 April and 2021 March. So we are a little late in having this award ceremony thanks to the COVID pandemic. And I now welcome Dr. Padmavati, Director of SCARF, to formally welcome the gathering and introduce the chief guest.
Thank you, Mangala. It's indeed, very, very happy occasion for us to have yet another function where we are looking at contributions for the cause of mental health in the country. And I really welcome all of you to this online. In fact, I was just telling Dr. Mangala that we may not find such a gathering if we were in person. So maybe we will acknowledge the contributions of technology in getting a number of viewership. And I also understand there are a number of people watching on YouTube as well. So thanks all of you for being here and welcome to this very, very important function of SCARF. I now would like to, it's really a personal privilege and an honor to introduce our chief guest for the day, Dr. Girija Vaidyanathan. Dr. Girija is a member on the board of management of SCARF. She is a retired IAS officer of batch 1981 and has had offices across several government departments like education, transport, several state offices. But I think her PhD in health economics has been, that has really contributed her wide acknowledgement for the tenure as the Principal Secretary of Health and Family Welfare. And, she also held the position of Mission Director, National Rural Health Mission at the same time. And I think what's important to acknowledge here is the execution of important policies and health related. Thank you, madam, for that, because I think it revolutionized the public health service systems in the state and provided a model for the rest of the country. She's known, widely also for her tenure as a chief secretary, in the Tamil Nadu government. And I think more important than her, what position she held, I'd like to tell the listeners a few words about who Dr. Girija is. I've known her only since she joined the board of SCAF, and but I also have heard a lot about the hard work she's done, the integrity that she brings to the table, the competence with which she has operated. And more recently, I've had the opportunity, thanks to Dr. Girija, for having meeting younger IAS officers. And one thing that I've constantly heard about her is the way she has mentored the young IAS officers. And I think that would go a long way in strengthening the governance in the country. She readily joined SCAF board after retiring as the chief secretary. Thank you again, madam, because her contributions began from the word go. I mean, I remember the first ever meeting that she attended, and she was already there giving us plenty of ideas as to how we could, resolve some problems or get better and so on. So once again, really grateful to you for that. This function is a very important celebration of mental health writing. And by that, I mean that it's really the, people who write, the young journalists who have to carry the message of mental health for the service of the mentally ill into the wide world. There are a lot of people who are still reading the print media. And it's important that the right kind of communication happens. And therefore, I think this award is a celebration of all those people who have been, writing on mental health. And today we are gaining another feather with Dr. Girija as the chief guest for the present. So thank you, madam, for being here today with us. And it's really a pleasure and a delight for us to have you here. I welcome all viewers for this function, and then hand this over back to Dr. Mangala for taking this celebration forward. Over to you, Dr. Mangala.
Thank you, madam. I think it's my duty to invite all the dignitaries here, Dr. Jaya, Mr. Venkatesh, both of them who have been associated with the Media Awards for a very long time, right from the first edition onwards, 2013 onwards, and they have been helping us judge all those, so many articles that get submitted to us every year. And we are extremely happy to have Madam Garyali, who has been a major force at SCAF right from its inception. And thank you, Madam, for being here, despite the difference in the time zone. And may I now request Dr. Jaya, the chairperson of the SCAF Media Awards, to give the jury's perspective about the entries this year, and with inputs from Mr. Venkatesh as well. I don't think both of them need any introduction. Dr. Jaya, I think most of the journalists here will know, many of them will be her students from the Asian College of Journalism. And I think she's one of the best teachers on health reporting in this country. And Mr. Venkatesh, again, needs no introduction. He's an avid writer, a journalist. He is now the editor of Pattam, a unit of Dinamalar. And he has been associated with SCAF as a member of the jury for this Media Awards for a very long time. Thank you, both of you, for being here today, despite your busy schedule. Over to you, Dr. Jaya.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mangala, for those very kind words. I'm not sure that all of them are deserved, but I speak for myself, of course, not for Mr. Venkatesh. But may I say again, what a privilege it is to be associated with the Schizophrenia Research Foundation of India consistently over a period of such a long time, year after year, working together, bending our energies towards a very, very important sort of an objective, which is really to acknowledge and appreciate the fine work that journalists in this country are putting in to improve the commentary, the quality of commentary on mental health, something which we're so thrilled to see, both Mr. Venkatesh and I, and I'm sure everyone at SCAF, we're so thrilled to see the number of entries increasing. This year we've had quite a number of entries, and we're so thrilled to see that because to us, it signals something, which is that there's not only interest in reporting about mental health, there's also interest in applying for an award, in wanting to be acknowledged, recognized, getting your name on the map. And oftentimes I always think, like, if you ask many of the youngsters why they come into journalism, they want to make a change. And often what really makes a difference to the career of that journalist is recognition, is being appreciated for the thought and for the effort and the blood, sweat and tears that they put into their writing and getting it out, wanting to be heard, wanting to be understood, wanting to make a change, some kind of an impact, no matter how minimal, on the lives of the people who are reading the article, on mental health service users, on policymakers,
चावल बन गया
service deliverers, and so on. So,
बंद करना
I think that these mental health, media for mental health awards that SCARF has so generously instituted are playing a huge role as a motivation and as an inspiration for journalists to realize that someone is following their work. Not just someone, it's experts who are following your work. Experts who are reading your commentary, experts who are responding also. It's people who are the frontline deliverers of mental health service, who are keenly following your commentary and getting back to you on this. That we appreciate the work that you're doing and that you're making a positive difference to the work that mental health professionals are doing on the front lines. So I really think that this is an initiative that deserves to become more widely known in the journalist community. We want lots more reporting on mental health and lots more people taking an interest to apply for these awards. And hopefully we might try and develop this initiative into a much larger mentoring platform, which is something which the second major point that I wanted to talk about. We're so honored to have two former bureaucrats in today's function, both of whom bring decades of experience and insight and they know very well the challenges of what it is to create a policy and see it come to life in the field, in the area of health. And it's always a major task to sort of get that information about the policy and the challenges in implementing it, the budgets according to it, the human resources that are required to bring it to life in the field, all of that known to the public and to elicit the public's support. And that kind of window to what is going on the supply side can only be afforded by the media on a large scale. And that is something that can not only sort of make the supply side known to the people who require it, it's also the feedback that comes from the demand side, or the feedback that comes from the lack of demand side, that can in turn shape policy, shape the budget, shape the demand for better quality sort of investments in mental health. So we're so privileged, madam, to have you here, and really looking forward to hearing from you. The third thing that I think I dare say I can speak for Mr. Venkatesh as well. We've both been seeing a remarkable increase in the depth of detail also in the entries that are coming in year after year. There was a time when reporting on mental health, barring a few journalists, I'm not making a sweeping generalization, but there used to be like a very broad stereotyped take on mental health, oftentimes with the usage of the wrong terminology, oftentimes sweeping statements about people with mental illness, that they're more harmful to society, or the name calling and the stigmatization. All of that, in the entries that are coming to us year after year, we're seeing a gradual dip, and we're seeing greater inclusivity in the commentary, greater respect for the conditions that people live with, greater empathy towards the caregivers as well as the service providers. And all of these are brilliant and welcome changes. And sometimes I feel it's also because now we are, on the World Wide Web, we're also connected to find reporting and writing on mental health from people around the world. So journalists, we all learn from each other's reporting. We all we're curious to see what the competition is writing and how they're the kind of story angles that come out. So one of the best ways to educate oneself is to read a lot of reporting on mental health from around the world. We absolutely have fantastic pieces, and take a look at what's there on the Pulitzer website, which awards have won the, which entries have won the awards, and just try to deconstruct the craft of how that journalist has presented mental health. And that in itself is a major way to sort of improve our own, reporting on it. one more point which I would like to add here is that data on mental health, surveys and scholarship around mental health has also increased. In fact, there's been a little wave of it in association with the COVID-19 pandemic. Side by side with the COVID-19 pandemic, we're seeing such a high profile given to mental health, the impact of the pandemic on mental health over the last 2 years, and it's still continuing. IIT Kharagpur has come out with another sort of a forecast saying that we might be looking at a fourth wave in India a few months down the line, few weeks down the line. So this is a protracted crisis with not fully documented impact on mental health across the spectrum. So we're seeing a parallel sort of rush of commentary on what the mental health impact of the pandemic has been. And some of that is absolutely first class. Some of it is absolutely wonderful to read and learn from. So what I'm really hoping is this should help to break down the barriers between the people in my mind, I call them the news makers, the people who are delivering mental health, people at NIMHANS, people at SCAF, people at, all around the world that are delivering mental health services, the researchers of mental health, the doctors, the paramedical staff, all of them. There's always been this distance between these newsmakers and the media. But unless you make yourself available to the journalists, unless you make yourself confident and open to talk about one's work, to give the data, to share it, and to also have conversations with journalists about how to interpret that data in a way that's relatable to lay readers, we're not going to see a better and better reporting on mental health. As long as the newsmakers remain behind a screen of either fear of being misreported or fear of, having a story taken out of context, we're not going to be able to see, sort of better reporting on mental health. So my plea to all the newsmakers who are part of this event is also like, offer access, make yourself available, particularly if journalists have a deadline to meet and you need a verification or a confirmation or a comment on something, take the trouble to build that relationship, because that's how these relationships are built. That's how the trust is built. And essentially fine quality reporting on health, not just mental health, is all about trust, greater communication and trust. So for this year's jury process, I think we had it's always a delight to be able to go through so many wonderful ways of telling a story, because we've had so many entries this year. And our congratulations to all the people who sent in your stories for evaluation this year. Every one of them was a piece of hard work, and we fully appreciate the efforts that have gone in there. And it was a very tough task to sort of select the best of the best of the best and make sure that they are there. So I'm going to now, I think I've said enough. I'm going to hand it over now to Mangala and then on to Mr. Venkatesh to sort of add his thoughts to it. Also, I would really appreciate it if Dr. Girija could speak for a longer time than the 5 minutes that I see on the agenda. And so now I hand it over to Dr. Mangala. Thank you again for this opportunity.
Thank you very much, Dr. Jaya. As usual, it was a pleasure listening to you. And every time I listen to you, I envy your students more and more, be it virtual or in real time. I think, like you mentioned, there was a lot of mental health discussion centered around the pandemic in the past couple of years. And we hope that this actually percolates further, and mental health is also it enters all the stories that are written about other social issues as well. It has to be part of every socially important story that gets reported in the media. May now invite Mr. Venkatesh to share his opinion about his experience with evaluating the articles as a jury member.
Thank you, Mangala. I'm so delighted to be invited to speak in SCAR. This almost, from, I'm just realized that, I've been associated with SCAR for selecting these pieces from 2013. It's almost, I think.
10 years.
So I'm so happy to be associated with this project. Adding to what Dr. Jaya said, I have other things also to probably share my opinions on my thoughts on all these things. Over the years, I have seen that most of the media houses were not giving much importance to the health-related stories, and particularly mental health-related stories. But what I have seen in this particular 2021 edition is that I have seen some certain commonalities, which is very interesting and very I'm so impressed with that model. One is I'm seeing a lot of lengthy pieces. For example, generally, you are given a probably say 500 words or 300 words kind of an articles, and generally that is very sketchy. That doesn't cover much of the stories in the field. Whereas this time, most of the stories I have seen is almost like I have read some stories which runs to almost 2,500 words, probably around 2,000 words. I mean, which is either they should have been, I mean, maybe it is published online, but I don't know. But even in the print edition, I can see that these lengthy stories are getting published in even the mainstream magazine. That is very important, which is kind of the importance that the media houses are giving to this mental health is a very important aspect, and giving lengthy stories is a very important aspect to it. And the second part of it is that most of the stories are, as Dr. Jaya was saying, that in depth, which means the in depth in the sense. There are even in last year also I found this, most of the people actually went to the field, did the very detailed research and did a very good groundwork, and then reported the stories. This time also I see a lot of these groundwork which is actually getting into the field, collecting data, and that's the most important, collecting data within India and also from the internationally available secondary sources that is also collected in this story, most of the stories. So they prefer to do a story and add the story and embellish the story with proper data, and also bring in the experiences from the local communities, and then make sure that the story is complete. So I think that is the way that the real story, that the real pieces make a lot of difference in reading, and actually it will give a lot of material for the community also, which I think is most important as a reader, as a from the reader's perspective. I think it is most important because it gives you a complete 360-degree perspective of the particular issue. And then another important aspect which I found this year is that there is a continuous reporting, which is most important. We call it as a developing story. There's a story which I published in, I think, in Maharashtra paper. They continuously published some 6 or 7 pieces on a single issue, which is very important. Most of the places, what happens, it's always a single story which actually is forgotten. Whereas in this particular case, a particular journalist is continuously working on a single story, and every single update is continuously getting published in the paper, which is most important. I think this continuous story, for reporting in a developing story is a very generally this happens in a different fields. For example, it can be crime, it can be any other field where you get this developing story, or a political story will be a developing story. Whereas generally, a health story is not, or particularly a mental health story may not be a developing story. This time I can see that there is a very clear difference, that people are writing continuously on a particular issue, and the paper is also continuously publishing this developing story. And inputs are very important, and the inputs are very qualified inputs. They take proper experts, and they also bring in the internationally and nationally acclaimed sources into the story. So that makes the story more valuable. And personally, I like the stories which are very straightforward, in the sense it is a personal account. If it is a personal experience, and if someone writes that their personal experience, that makes a lot of difference. See, there is always the first person stories always makes a lot of difference. If someone is he's actually a person who has experienced all these things, and probably if he is able to come out of his problems and be able to narrate the entire story in his first person, then it makes a lot of difference. And I see that even this year also, I can see that at least 2-3 stories are in the first person, which is most important, and that makes a lot of difference in the reporting. And as a journalist, I also I should appreciate this time. See, this is from an internal perspective. For example, most of the stories don't get a byline, and the writers are actually unknown. He's just a health journalist, and they don't get any byline at all. But this time I can see that all the stories have got a byline, And I think that is most important, because giving credit to the writer, giving credit to the health journalist is very important. And I think that is where the awareness has built. And even apart from this this selection, I can see that even otherwise also. Hello, என்னது? ஸோ என்னன்னா, இப்ப இதுல மோஸ்ட் இம்பார்ட்டன்ட் எல்லாருக்கும் அந்த பைலைன் கொடுக்குறாங்க. அந்த பைலைன் கொடுக்கறது ரொம்ப முக்கியம் அப்படின்னு நான் நினைக்கிறேன். அது ஜேர்னலிஸ்டுக்கு ஒரு பெரிய ஒரு நம்பிக்கையை கொடுக்கும், நம்ம ஒரு துணிச்சலை கொடுக்கும். இப்ப நீங்க அவங்க ஸ்டோரியை ஃபாலோ பண்ணணும் அப்படின்னு நமக்கு தெரியும். ஸோ அப்போ ஆட்டோமேட்டிக்கா அந்த ஜேர்னலிஸ்டுக்கும் ஒரு பொறுப்பு இருக்கு, அந்த மீடியா ஹவுஸ்க்கும் ஒரு பொறுப்பு இருக்கு. அப்போ ஆட்டோமேட்டிக்கா அந்த ஜேர்னலிஸ்ட் கண்டிப்பாக அவங்கள ஃபாலோ பண்ணக்கூடிய, அவங்களுடைய ஸ்டோரிஸ் மேலேயும் அவங்களுக்கு ஒரு பெரிய ஒரு வரவேற்பு இருக்கும். ஸோ இதெல்லாமே இந்த தரம் நான் பார்க்கும்போது this entire all these aspects have added value to this this year's media awards. And I think it's really a very appreciable and a very important development which has happened in the media house. And particularly, as Dr. Jaya was saying, that most of the stories were on COVID-19 and the problems. But I think that's fairly fine. I know it is properly covered. But the most important is the aspects that they have covered, with the genuinity that they have covered. All these stories is most important. And I'm really happy that SCARF has given me this opportunity to go through all these stories. Thank you, SCARF, and thank you, Dr. Mangala and Dr. Padma. Thank you very much.
So thank you very much, sir. Two things were very obvious: your passion for journalism, and you also taught us the journalist perspective in the whole issue. I think I understand most of those articles better when you started explaining that from a journalist point of view. Thank you very much, sir. And I think you were very upset that there were not many tough articles at all, and you were gracious enough not to mention it now. But I think it's the time for us to acknowledge the fact that we have not received even one entry this time from the regional language, from our local language. So I definitely take your suggestions, and we would definitely work on including more Tamil articles in the coming years. Maybe we will go after them if they don't come to us. That is the way forward from what you say. Thank you very much, sir, once again for being a part of the SCARF Media Awards, and we are extremely grateful to you for sparing the time despite your very busy schedule. I think it's now time for us to invite our chief guest, Madam Girija Vaidyanathan. She will deliver her speech, and then she will announce the awards for the year 2021. Madam, we definitely look forward to hearing a lot from you. So please don't limit yourself to 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mangala. On announcing the awards, I will finish the speech, then read out, or you will read out. How will this happen?
Doctor, you can, when you announce the awards, Dr. Jaya
will start mentioning the names. Okay, sir.
And we will screen it anyway, ma'am.
Anyway, on the length of the talk, this entire gathering here, both all of you from SCARF, Dr. Jaya, Mr. Venkatesh, any other YouTube visitors, anyone who knows me knows that once I start talking, I cannot stop.
Wonderful.
That's not in this. I will finish my speech, but I'm always available to all of you to initiate dialogue when we are sitting alone and ruminating with our thoughts. So good afternoon, everyone.
Can you please get the camera, ma'am? Because
sorry, what do I do?
No, your face is fully
the thing.
1 second. There's something missing. Nothing is happening.
So you just need to shift the focus the camera. That's better. That's
wonderful. My computer went to sleep.
Yes, ma'am, this is better.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's a proud privilege for me to present the awards at the 10th Media for Mental Awards function organized by SCARF. As I was saying earlier, 9 years ago, when I just laid down office as health secretary, I was invited for the physical first award ceremony, where I remember, I think Mr. Gopal Krishna Gandhi was the chief guest. I could not attend the function then. I'm really happy to be part of this award function as a board member of SCARF and as a well-wisher of the work that we are discussing today. But before we go on any further, I want to take a minute to pay homage to the great lady who left us early this year, without whom this function probably would not have happened, Dr. Sharda Menon. She's always inspired me. She belonged to my father's generation, and we had few family friends. We had a few mutual family friends. So I got to know her even before I entered the civil service. And definitely a woman of her generation having trodden an unbeaten path of becoming a woman psychiatrist and working in the field of psychiatry to become the first superintendent of the Institute of Mental Health in Kilpauk. Everything inspired me, and she remained inspirational till her death in the beginning of this year. Later, I had actually opportunities to work with her on the state mental health policy on the mental health board. She always amazed me with her clarity of thought and her commitment of purpose. One would wait for a question from her and you know it would be difficult, but you knew that she was pointing out something that was very relevant and very necessary to be done. So, ma'am, I feel honored to have been associated with you, and I also feel honored to be in this function, which was part of the work that was started by you. I want to tell you that just before I joined the board of STOP, I got a personal call. I'd never got a personal call from her because I'd lost touch over the many years in between. But there was a call from her on my mobile phone, and she warmly welcomed me to the board. I was very touched. Then she went on to say that retirement should not be the end of our life's work. And it was a very important statement. She said, I just retired then. So she said, retirement should not be the end of your life's work. And now I know why she was saying this and how she had followed it up by her personal example, because she set up SCARF after having retired from government service when she was exactly the age at which she talked to me. In 1984, she set up SCARF with Dr. Rajkumar and Dr. Tara. And today's SCARF stands as testimony to her hard work and her vision. Now it's become internationally and nationally recognized. And here we are distributing awards to journalists on the 10th year, discussing how we could make this award even more coveted among our young journalist friends so that more people will report positively in the area of mental health. Now, one other great advantage came out of this meeting. Normally, I don't accept functions at all. I'm non-functioning. After retirement, I've just decided that my face will be seen only in Zoom board meetings, but I could not turn Dr. Padma down. As she said, there's a personal reason I felt committed to come for this function. But this helped me, whatever Mangala and Shruti shared with me, helped me to understand some of the work that staff is doing in great detail. Because normally you sit on a board, a proposal comes, you see the proposal and you discuss about it, and then you go on, you know they're doing excellent work. But this was an occasion for me to, let's say, navigate through the website, look at what all they've done, go to their Frame of Mind website, see everything and how much, let's say, care and attention is going to the work they're doing. It was just a very positive experience for me and made me happy that I could be associated in all these efforts in some way. I must mention the Frame of Mind website. Mrs. Garyali mentioned it. Though this was not part of my work, I managed to stray there, and I spent a lot of time looking through the prize winning as well as shortlisted entries. Maybe one reason why between my grandparenting and other work, I could not find time to write a formal speech. So, but I must say that the archived information on that website was indeed fascinating. This award is similar, though it's been there for a shorter time. We've been giving these awards annually, whereas that function has been held biannually. And the great advantages of this is that it is truly a national effort, because I have seen, I think the first year's award was actually given to somebody who wrote on Kashmir. So I think it is truly a national effort, though as Mangala pointed out, one would like to see more Tamil there, little bit parochialism on our part, but we would like to see all languages there, because mental health is not an issue related to one language or even one country. It is universal and international. And I think this, I can say with confidence what I heard from my previous speakers, that these awards have gone a long way in encouraging journalists to not only come forward and write about these issues, but write about them in a way that it makes a positive impact. I also learned that it was not just these awards. There is more work being done by SCARF on building the alliance between mental health professionals and the journalist community, a point which Dr. Jaya made, that we need to go out and look and join together rather than hide in our own work. I heard that SCARF, along with Sangat, has developed an online free course for sensitive reporting of mental health issues. I do hope that now about 75 journalists have completed this course in the past 18 months. But I hope that these functions, putting these on YouTube, hearing about their friends winning these coveted and prestigious awards will encourage other young journalists. And maybe, I mean, nowadays the word young does not mean anything to me. We're all mentally young. Encourage all journalists to join this course and improve their reporting style. Because I think I'm a great votary of online education. I've spent a lot of time learning things which I never had time to do when I was working. So I really hope this will encourage other journalists to join this course. I also found that they're working on fellowships, and 7 journalists have joined the fellowship, and are about another 9 are yet to join. All these are efforts to bring journalists, media students together with the mental health community. I think, if anything, that is what this award and this function, and that is what the vision of the founders of SCARF and everyone who is working in the field of mental health would want to happen. And the work is being done by a small and committed team. I have no words but to say hats off to you guys. You're doing a great job. Please continue to do it. And as I said, the judges they seem to be as much a part of SCARF as anyone else. Because both of them, they have mentioned that they've been there since this award was instituted. And as I said, I did hear their speech of last year, and then I've heard their speech now. They have become truly what this award represents. And I agree with them. Last time, I think Jaya had spoken about the fact that today journalists cannot merely serve as as merely purveyors of information. You find some information and give it. But now you have to interpret the information. You have to take what is available on the internet, which is actually good and bad in many ways, and interpret it for the common man so that he's able to see a positive effect of it. And I think that these kind of awards and the way they are being judged helps everyone realize the importance of this. I went through, in my free time last week, I also went through research on this topic of media and mental health. Intuitively, one used to see media as a bad guy, go there and do negative things. But right now, I think a lot of researchers are seeing that media's positive impact has been quite substantial. Especially, there's been work even in our own awards on the suicide guidelines, and how the journalists who observe suicide guidelines have actually contributed to reduction of future suicides. So a lot of work can be done in presenting information so that it humanizes mental illness, offers hope to persons with mental disorders, encourages people with mental illness to seek help as soon as possible, and gives accurate information about psychiatric disorders, removing the misconceptions which are there. These 4 I found, these are what we want them to do. And all the prize-winning articles that I was able to see on the internet through these years have been able to do that. And that's what I think this is particularly important in this pandemic era, especially when our access to our friends and family and talking to intimate relationships have also become less, because we live in this isolated world. The role of the media, this is the 2021 articles, and I'm sure that same is going to be there in the 21-22 articles. I find that all of you have spoken out to the community, come out with your truths, as Mr. Venkatesh said, talked about personal experience, shared it with others. And that, I think, will make an extreme, the empathy that is shown, the detailed research that's been done, more specialized work that's being done, all these will go a long way in making journalism and mental health professionals come closer together. I think Jaya's call also to use the internet to look at mental health reporting all over the world is very timely, and is indeed a very good suggestion to all young journalism students as well as reporters, because I too found that many countries have been looking at this issue, not just us. And I think you would learn a lot, and I think it would contribute to the world at large. Mr. Venkatesh's point that media houses have started giving importance to mental health issues, overcoming their initial resistance, giving bylines to such authors, and also going in for continuous reporting as required, as he mentioned in the Mumbai article that has won an award. I feel that this is a step in the right direction, though I feel we have to keep pushing. Nothing is, Rome was not built in a day, to use a proverb in a very boring way, but exactly, we will keep working at it. And I do hope that these will all move us forward in using the media productively and positively to improve the lives of those with mental health issues. Now, the role that institutions like SCARF are doing is also very obvious, because it's obvious that some of these journalists have come forward to write after looking at others who have done the same. And it's what Dr. Padma said about mentoring. I think people like Jaya and Venkatesh are mentoring young journalists, but others are seeing those of you who are winning awards today, those of you who have submitted entries today. And I think it is motivating them to enter into the slightly minefield-ridden area of mental health and offer their positive contributions. I once again thank the judges for their continued support to this program and an excellent selection of the awardees. Last but not least, let me address the true heroes and heroines of this function, the journalists who are being recognized. In this context, I feel everyone who applied for this award is a winner. Everyone who submitted the entry has already made the first step, and if not this year, they would get an actual award next year. I salute them all. I congratulate also the prize winners, because after all, they put in more hard work. I was able to read through all their articles, and I came out a better person with a more distinct understanding both of how people cope with mental health issues of coping with COVID, the issues of personally acknowledging sexuality. All these were very eye-opening. I also was impressed with the clarity of writing, the sensitivity with the subjects have been presented, and the sharing of personal experience. All three, I think, have gone a long way to make these entries award-winning. Indeed, plethora of topics have been covered, and I also found the two authors, though non-journalists, who have received special mention, writing about anxiety. I think many of us, my own family, there are people who have struggled with anxiety neurosis, so I know the difficulties, and I think both authors have come out with articles which are very relevant. I look forward now to hearing from these awardees on as they receive the awards on what motivated them to write and how they would go forward in encouraging others to follow in their path. Now, before I close, I have 3 suggestions, and all these are just in the way of suggestions. I find that today, along with the print media and to some extent the documentary films and mainstream filmmaking, I feel that TV news has become a very big source of information and a source of both positive and negative impacts. People who have families with mental health issues or are facing mental health issues themselves, or just want to have some more information. I heard from the SCARF team that there have been some move in this direction, that I do hope that in some way the TV news formats could also be introduced as a category for this award. I think once again, this would motivate a lot of younger journalists, a lot of journalists to go ahead and make more detailed and empathetic presentations to those who are watching this news. Also, the second suggestion I have is I found that we have archived the films, the short films that have won the Frame of Mind Award, but though we have the names of the articles that have won the Media for Mental Health Awards, we do not have an archive of the articles yet. I had made the suggestion to Shruti and Mangala that it would, and they said they would follow through, that we could create an archive of these articles and also make them readily available on the search engine. Now, all this is some things that I've learned in my last 2 years, that the search engine has to oblige if you have to find something. So even if it's your YouTube channel, you really have to put it, make sure that it is seen when someone is looking for it. And I've no doubt that the team will make this done. This is my second suggestion. Now, my third suggestion is something which is, it's not really a suggestion, it is just articulation of what both the judges said, and to some extent, everyone has been saying that let's get more people involved in this. Let's get more positive writing on mental health. Let's make that course, the free course on sensitivity in mental health writing, more positive. Let's get entries from every language. Let's find out why the entries are not coming in, or why the entries, if they come in, get rejected for not being suitable. So let's use the Zoom technology and the web technology fully in order to achieve this purpose. Because I know that as I think Mangala said, not this many people would have been there if we had had a physical meeting. So the same analogy applies, and if we can use the good offices of all our journalist friends, as well as Jaya and Venkatesh, and go for small focus group meetings to understand how we can improve participation even better. Of course, I know everyone's time is limited, but this is a suggestion for making these awards even more robust than they are now. Once again, I think, as I said, this was not a prepared speech. I came to listen, and I nowadays get the chance to listen to many of these webinars, and I truly come out enlightened. I once again congratulate everyone who has been part of this effort, the authors, the journalists, the judges, the SCARF team, everyone. And I would like to end with a quote which I took out from Tara's moving eulogy on Dr. Sharda Menon. This is what she said when she was past 90. The goal which I set myself has not been reached. I have yet to establish that people with mental disorders can live a normal life. What an inspiring person. Let's all again remember her vision and legacy, keep up her promises, and as we traverse through this life and make our contributions to make the life of the mentally ill better and more, and help them to live a more normal life. Thank you once again for this excellent opportunity. It was wonderful meeting all of you, though virtually. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam. Madam, you can now announce the awards going from the third place.
Okay, once again. I'm not very technology savvy. Just once again.
Ma'am, you can just announce. We will display the citation.
Okay, I now announce, wait 1 second. I've got it here. The same issue as Jaya, my glasses don't cooperate. I now announce the third place. I start with the third place?
Yes, madam.
Yeah, the follow-up story. I now announce the third place award for Mr. Vinod Kumar Menon on for the Media for Mental Health Awards for the current year 2021.
Dr. Jaya?
Yeah, I'm going to read it out. And so,
would you like me to read out the headline? Because it's a series of headlines.
Dr. Jaya, read it out, madam.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, we proudly recognize the outstanding efforts of Mr. Vinod Kumar Menon for his balanced and sensitive reportage of the oft neglected issue of the rights of persons with mental illnesses. Through a series of articles, the first one, Bollywood director fights biological mother over baby's custody. Second story, woman fighting to get child back, helped by Good Samaritan. Third story, 12 days on, mom still not united with kid with Bollywood director, who's with Bollywood director. And fourth story, woman beats mental illness to win baby back from fosterage. It's a series of 4 stories. These were published in the Midday in December 2020. Mr. Vinod Kumar Menon has effectively highlighted the challenges of being doubly disadvantaged for a woman with mental illness and her struggle to regain her right to motherhood. So we're so delighted to confer on Mr. Vinod Kumar Menon the 2021 SCARF Media for Mental Health Awards for excellence in reporting on mental health. Congratulations, Mr. Menon. Over to you, Dr. Mangla.
Can we go to the second one?
Yes, madam. We can move on to the second prize. We will get a feedback from the winners after we announce all the prizes.
I know, 1 second. My camera has vanished. I now announce the second place award for Mr. Sudipta Das. Nobody affirmed my queerness. Experience of childhood counseling sessions from Feminism India.
Dr. Jaya?
Yeah. So SCARF proudly recognizes the outstanding efforts of Sudipta Das for his daring and striking effort to share his personal journey with queerness and mental health. And through their article, Nobody Affirmed My Queerness, Experience of Childhood Counseling Sessions, which were published online in Feminism in India, February 2021. Sudipta invites readers into an intimate exploration of their mental landscape, shedding light on queer affirmative therapy as a hope for the community. So we're so delighted to confer on Sudita Das the 2021 SCARF Media for Mental Health Award for excellence in reporting on mental health. And this is, I think, probably one of the rare times that we've actually seen a piece on queer affirmative therapy. I think it's the first one that I've come across that has explained it with this kind of a perspective. So congratulations, Sudita. Over to you, Dr.
Really having trouble with my computer. 1 second. I announced the first prize award for Mr. Rishti Bistidar for 1 second. Let me see whether I can get it on my phone. The computer's just vanished. Jaya, could you read it out? I'm having difficulty accessing the document from it.
Certainly.
Yeah.
So SCARF proudly recognizes the outstanding efforts of Girija Vaidyanathan for her balanced and detailed reportage on the impact of COVID-19 pandemic on service users. And through her article, How Patients Living with Mental Illness Hospitals Coped with the COVID-19 Crisis, published in India Spend, November 2020, Riddhi presented the multifarious struggles and challenges that multiple stakeholders faced to both deliver and access mental health services while upholding the values and grammar of responsible journalism. So absolutely delighted to confer on Riddhi Dastidar the 2021 SCARF Media for Mental Health Award for Excellence in Reporting on Mental Health. Congratulations, Riddhi.
Should we now announce the special awards or the regional awards?
Either way, we can announce the regional awards and then move on to the special mention.
I now announce the regional awards in Hindi for the Media for Mental Health Awards, Sindhu Vasini for the on World Mental Health Day in BBC Hindi.
So let me read the citation for Sindhu Vasini. Congratulations. SCARF proudly recognizes the outstanding efforts of Sindhu Vasini for accurate, balanced, and sensitive reportage on the underreported issue of the rights of people with mental illness. And through her article, World Mental Health Day, let me try this. पैसे वाले भी नहीं उठा पा रहे हैं इलाज का खर्च गरीब क्यों करेंगे. So published in the BBC Hindi in October 2020, Sindhu Vasini illustrates in detail the challenges faced by mental health service users to avail the benefits of insurance, such an important issue, against the backdrop of India's Mental Health Care Act. SCARF is delighted to confer on Sindhu Vasini the 2021 SCARF Media for Mental Health Awards for Excellence in Reporting on Mental Health. If I might add a line, having a policy in place or having a mental health act that has been passed is just part of it. How that act is actually implemented in the field, to what extent is it being applied and used by both service providers and service users, and that is really what journalists need to sort of do on a consistent basis over time, so that there's also some guidance back to the government on how this is working and what difference it is making in the lives of people. So congratulations, Sindhu Vasini. Back to you, Dr. Mangla.
I'd like to announce the Malayalam Award, Regional Award for Media for Mental Health, Sijo Pinadath for Akatiri Pulakate Kurunno Murivikal, in Deepika Daily.
So let me read the citation. Congratulations, Mr. Panadar. So SCARF proudly recognizes your outstanding efforts for your detailed reportage on the mental health of young people. So through a series of articles, Agathirupukalatte Kurunnu Murivugal, published in the Deepika Daily from July to August 2020, CGO explores a range of issues related to the mental health of children and their impact on caregivers, with a focus on how the pandemic has had a special impact on children's mental well-being. So lots of detailed stories with quite a colorful human face on those articles, which made me wish I could read and follow Malayalam better. So the translation, I think, did a fair job. But congratulations to Mr. Painadath, and looking forward to more. Back to you, Dr. Mangla.
Now for the special awards to Sudiksha Jain, colloquial use of mental health terms and why it needs to stop, Nagarika publication.
This I felt, we all felt actually this is one of the most important pieces which turned out to be a journalism education tool as well for other journalists. So that they, with a little bit of a tweaking and editing here and there, if Sudiksha is willing to help us, we can actually turn it into a tip sheet for journalists. So SCARF proudly recognizes your outstanding efforts, Sudiksha Jain, to highlight the crucial need for responsible language in the public discourse around mental health through your article, Colloquial Use of Mental Health Terms and Why It Needs to Stop, published online in the Margika publication, April 2020. Sudiksha brings out the importance of sensitive usage of terms related to mental health, not only in health reporting, but in journalism overall. So SCARF is delighted to confer on Sudiksha Jain the 2021 SCARF Media for Mental Health Awards for Excellence in Reporting on Mental Health. Congratulations, Sudiksha. And thank you.
And the second special award to Ayushi Kemka, A Journey with Anxiety. No, it's not nervousness, by the Health Collective.
So again, SCARF proudly recognizes the outstanding efforts of Ayushi Kemka for her forthright exploration of anxiety. And through her article, My Journey with Anxiety, No, It's Not Nervousness, published in the Health Collective of November 2020, Ayushi engages and sensitizes readers through the twists and journeys of her personal tryst with anxiety. So we're so delighted to confer on Ayushi the 2021 SCARF Media for Mental Health Awards for Excellence in Reporting on Mental Health. Thanks so much for your generosity and confidence in sharing your story with everyone. Thank you, Ayushi.
That's it.
Thank you very much, madam. It was a pleasure listening to you. I think you should talk to us at SCARF more often, whenever you can spare the time to talk to us. And I think all those suggestions that you made are very valid. We are definitely looking at including the TV news capsules on mental health also for a special category of awards next time. And we are working on it, and there seems to be some difficulty in how to include news reports, so we need to work on that. Thank you very much, madam, for your excellent suggestions and for giving away the awards. Dr. Jaya, would you like to announce the new category that we plan to introduce next year onwards?
Sure. That would be a privilege, Dr. Mangla. So we realize year after year, Mr. Venkatesh can also add in his comments, but we're seeing a number of submissions of two sorts, which from people who don't fall into the classical category of a working journalist or a freelancer. And that is submissions from people, their own lived experiences, testimonials of people who've handled their own mental health and want to write a piece and share that journey with the readers who are not journalists themselves. So that is, I think, a kind of communication. That's the kind of story which SCARF is absolutely delighted to sort of promote and provide a platform and acknowledge that the sharing of one's own mental health, experiences with one's own mental health, with one's own condition, and how one is coping with it would be a valuable sort of a learning experience, not only for readers everywhere, but also for journalists. Because oftentimes how you like to be identified, how you would like to be seen, both in terms of gender or in terms of one's own physical or mental illness, is a real important aspect of sensitivity and inclusivity. And also it will add that whole flavor of rights-based reporting, human rights-based reporting and ethical reporting into the narratives and stories that will be told around mental health. So from next year, we're absolutely delighted to announce that there will be a special category of awards for the lived experiences of mental health from people who are not journalists, who are not freelancers, but who would still like to submit a story of their own personal journey with a mental illness or a mental condition or with their own mental health. So back to you, Dr. Mangla. So that will be from the next year's awards onwards. So please please pass the word around, publicize this, please, and send in your entries.
Thank you very much, Dr. Jaya. I think we will have a lot of entries in that category from next year onwards. And I think it's now time for us to see the prize winners. It would be nice if you could switch on your cameras so that we can see all your faces. And any one of you who wishes to talk to us, to share your experience about writing that article and the experience of being part of Media SCARF Awards. So can you please come forward, or should I call out names?
Yeah, in no particular order. Sindhu, you want to go first?
Okay, thank you so much, ma'am. And I'm absolutely honored to receive this prestigious award. And I feel that this award comes with a price, that is my own lived experience. But I also feel that this experience has been a blessing in disguise, because it helped me to develop an empathy and compassion, which can reflect in my reporting. And I am committed towards this cause, and I will continue writing and reporting. Thank you so much once again.
Sindhu, I think insurance is one area you can continue writing about insurance for mental health, because that is an issue that is still not sorted out, and people are struggling with that particular issue. And maybe we should join hands. The mental health team and journalists should join hands to see if we can bring about a change in the existing insurance scenario for people with service users of mental health. Thank you very much.
Ma'am.
Congratulations once
Thank
again.
you very much. Thank you.
Who would like to go next? Vinod, are you there?
Hi, good afternoon, and thank you for taking out my name. I was just sorry that I got a bit late. Okay, coming to this particular article, before I get into it, I was fortunate as a journalist to work very closely with people with mental health issues. So I have spent a good amount of my career in Thane Mental Hospital. I was fortunate even to go with them for picnic. And I realized the best of the best talent were holed up there. They never got that kind of support from the society, from their own family, and even from the treating team members within the hospital, which was unfortunate because there would be only one or two like-minded people who want to do something in the field, but a large chunk of people working with the whole department, they work either in isolation or they still feel like, you know, it's a disease which is still a taboo and you don't want to talk about it in public domain. But my personal experience was much different. My concern was when a person is put behind the bars for committing an offense, we make a hue and cry when he's in the jail languishing there. We talk about his human rights. We talk about violations of the law. We talk about why somebody is languishing behind the jail for such a long time. But the irony is nobody bothers to go and check the inmates who have languishing behind this mental hospital. Jupru Patil is a name that I will never forget. He was arrested way back in 1975. The cops accused him of having used a sickle to hack his wife to death in Nasik. He was labeled as a lunatic by the cops because he was not able to give the motive for committing the crime. Then subsequently he get tagged by the magistrate. He is sent to Thane Asylum. From 75 till the time he was alive, for more than 30 years, Jupru Patil was never heard by anybody because he never had a family. So most of these people, they keep languishing. And though on paper it says that they should be heard, there need to be a board to hear them, and there need to be the district magistrate to take a cognizance of the offenses that happen. But unfortunately, when it comes to reality, that person's fate is decided by somebody who has not even bothered to take that extra time to spend and listen to what he has to say. That is the truth today. You know, when it comes to the implementation of the Mental Health Amendment Act of 2017, which was much needed and required in today's scenario, how many people even bother to talk about the implementation of the act? The legislation passes the act. It is very good. It has to be. But it is the state to decide whether it need to be implemented, not implemented. And how can mental health be put behind the mind of the so-called authorities who are otherwise supposed to be passionate, sensitive, and work towards the implementation of these changes, because of not implementation of this very amended Act of 2017, hundreds and thousands of people who require the special care, where the Act provides them the right to decide on their mental health care and the caregiver's right, they are getting deprived. And unfortunately, I am from a state of Maharashtra where this Act has not been implemented even today as I talk to you, which is an irony. COVID-19 pandemic had become basically a talking point across the globe. But along with COVID, what is missed out is basically the mental health issues. People saw their helplessness. They saw their loved ones dying. They ran helter-skelter to get the basic oxygen supply. They were not getting it. Many lost their job. People were not able to feed their family members. We never bothered to discuss the glaring problem that India will face in future, that is the mental health issue. Very few fortunate manage to go and get private consultancy. But how much research is going on to bring out the newer issues? What is that training program that we are talking about, whether it is any of the mental hospitals that we have, the 4 major mental hospitals that Maharashtra has got today. But I think some message is coming in. That's fine. Absolutely. Shruti, thank you. So my speech gets over there. Thanks a lot, Shruti. Thank you. Thank you. So this is my personal views, what I shared, but thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, Vinod. I think I just wanted to share a thought about the 4 stories that you had written. What was very striking was, you had chosen a fantastic headline, which will catch the attention of the reader. I think that would have made more people read that story, because definitely the human interest comes, you learn it only when you read the story, but the headlines were definitely very catchy to lure the reader to get into that story. I think it was a very beautifully written piece. Congratulations once again.
Thank you.
I guess Sudiksha is there. Sudiksha, you'd like to speak?
Sure. So I'd just like to start by saying that I am an aspiring mental health professional, and my efforts and my thoughts and ideas being recognized by a platform such as SCARF is extremely, extremely encouraging. And I'm truly honored and privileged to be awarded the awarded this award this year. I would just like to thank you for this platform. And the topic for my article was colloquial use of mental health terms and why it needs to stop. And I think every time I talk about it, there's only one thing that I say, which is that let's not treat mental health like it's not important. Let's treat it like we treat any other physical health illness. And how we don't exaggerate that, how we don't say I got a heart attack just when we have chest pains. Let's not say I'm depressed when I just had a bad day, or I have OCD just because I'm particular about things. So all I'd like to say is let's just take back something small, a change to make in our everyday language, and respect those who deal with these conditions every day. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sudiksha. And I think with your permission, we are going to use this article in all our future sessions when we teach journalists, in the sensitive reporting course. I think it is a wonderful teaching tool for us now. Thank you so much for that article.
Thank you, ma'am. I would truly be honored for you to include that. Thank you.
Sijo?
Yes.
Yeah.
Good afternoon. Respected Dr. Girija Vaidyanathan and officials of SCARF India, dear friends. I am very much honored to be one among the winners of SCARF Media for Mental Health Awards 2021. I sincerely thank SCARF India for setting up such an appreciation for the media persons. It's truly a great encouragement for us and many aspiring journalists. Your efforts to draw people's attention and care to the mental health area are commendable. May God Almighty strengthen you to continue all your good works. For me, it has been a fulfilling and eye-opening experience to research and pen down about the mental struggles of children during lockdowns. The little ones of lockdown will stay in my heart as it has touched my life deeply. And this appreciation is a confidence for me that my writing can make some impact in the society. And it is a challenge for me to do more for the betterment of the society. I dedicate the recognition to the children who are going through various mental struggles and all who help them. I congratulate all the other winners of Scarf Media for Mental Health Awards 2021. I thank Dr. Girija Vaidyanathan IAS and all the Scarf officials and jury members for your presence and appreciation. I also gratefully acknowledge all who have helped me in the pursuit of my life as a journalist, especially my family and friends. Thank you, Scarf India. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Siju. Your passion for your work was reflected very well in your speech. Thank you so much. May now request Ayushi Kenka to speak. Ayushi, you would like to say a few words?
Yeah, for sure. Hi. So first of all, definitely thanks everyone for this award. It definitely feels really great to receive it. And I would like, even though I am a person with lived experience, so my experience tends to be personal because I'm a person with lived experience, but I definitely resonate a lot with what Vinod was mentioning around how mental health is a systemic issue at large, and we need to talk about those issues as well, because a lot of the times, even in our reportage, we tend to miss out on the systemic parts of it, and it tends to become like an individualistic experience, which is really not true. And even though we have progressed so much as to calling personalist political, we don't necessarily see that in our discussions on mental health. So I would definitely appreciate that. And yeah, pretty much that. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Ayushi, and please keep writing.
Of course, I would love to do that.
Yeah, I think last but not the least, I would like to invite Riddhi Dastidar to please speak about your experience of writing that article for India's Pen.
Didi. Sorry, my Didi was not here. Hi, so first I just want to say thank you. It's such an honor to, win this award. And over the course of reporting the series of articles for India's Pen and the Mental Health Collective India, I learned so much, and I got to speak to a lot of organizations who are, partnering with the government and, nonprofits who are working on mental health, especially with the communities who are the most marginalized, whether it's by income or caste or gender, and are working with them to kind of serve as support, not just during the COVID-19 crisis, but like in general. So among them, I've definitely talked to Scarf on another of the stories I did on this series, which was on schizophrenia and women who are living with schizophrenia and trying to manage the condition, and as well as trying to have dignity and autonomy and pursue employment. So just the fact that Scarf works on livelihoods and makes that possible is just so important. The story that I wrote, as Mr. Venkatesh was saying, like, enabled me to go deeply in depth, because it was like, I think, a 3,000-word story on how different public mental hospitals across the country responded to the COVID-19 crisis, and then what happened to the people who depend on these hospitals for their basic mental health care. And honestly, it was a very depressing story to write, because a lot of the time the doctors were doing their best, families were doing their best, but the fact that people were shut up and not able to be released back to their families or go home, or the fact that people were not able to access care because suddenly the lockdown was instituted and there was no thought given to like how people with psychiatric disabilities are going to cope, what they're going to do, caregivers required, like none of this was thought of, because we still don't have the systemic heft required. But I still have a lot of hope that little by little we're chipping away, with organizations like Anjali, with Scarf, with Mehak, and so many people doing wonderful work across the country. I have hope that things are changing slowly, and journalism definitely is changing. I started working on this in 2018 when I was chosen as a fellow by India's Pen and the Health Collective. I was not yet a professional journalist. I was mostly a writer. and I was an academic, and I am so grateful to my editor Madhur Singh and Marisha Thakur, who picked me to write about this and kind of really trained me as a journalist on how to report on such a big issue while still making it readable and human interest. And finally, I just want to say that I grew up with OCD. I grew up with OCD and depression, and I'm a queer person, and I grew up in a middle class Bengali family where none of this was okay. And I grew up very scared and alone, and I didn't get therapy until I was like suicidal and in college in my final year. And it took that crisis for me to finally get help. And it just means so much to me to be able to report from a systemic lens on disabilities. And since I have this voice, I feel like there is a responsibility to use it, not just to tell my story, but most importantly, to talk about the people who rely on disability pensions, to talk about the struggles that trans people face, to talk about the struggles in not just mental health care, but basic health care that people with mental illnesses face, or how the work structure has to change, or how organizations have to respond. So I don't want to take up too much time. I just want to say thank you very, very much. And I'm just so happy. And I also just want to say that I see a lot of scope for partnering between, regional language media and other journalists to kind of, work together and spread this awareness and everything that's required to change. So thank you once again. Thank you very, very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Riddhi. I think I see another passionate journalist here who's willing to go a long way to serve the cause of mental health. Thank you very much, and may your tribe increase. I think with that, we are reaching the end of this year's awards. Before we close, Madam Garyali, would you like to say a few words, Madam?
Sure, I'm so delighted because the amount of participation and wonderful articles and the kind of participation from Jaya and Venkatesh and giving the leadership to continue this thing. I'm very delighted, and I'm so glad I sat there today to attend the whole thing, and I'm so happy. I'm not at all disappointed. In fact, I am very encouraged, and I want to congratulate Ms. Dastagir. In fact, I want to send my books to SCARF, the books on transgender, which I just finished writing. I'll tell them to, please send to all the journalists. I will send you about 20 copies. So all the participants who have come, they can be posted to them so that they could write about, I have got 14 stories there of transgender and queer people and how they struggled in life. So maybe since these people are at that, I'll send you a set of books. I'll get it delivered to Padma, and please send to all the participants. How many participants you had? I'll send you that many books. I wanted to reach the right people.
We had about 25 participants, Madam.
So I will give you 25 plus some more for SCARF, and especially for Mrs. Dastagir, because she is very passionate about it. I congratulate her and congratulate Miss Khemka, everybody, wonderful people. Love you girls, you're beautiful. And thank you, Jaya. Thank you, Padma. Thank you, Venkatesh. Thank you, Mangala.
Thank you, ma'am.
And thank you, Girija. Where is Girija? Thank you, Girija. So lovely to hear you. It was wonderful speech. I'm so proud of you.
Ma'am, I thought you forgot me.
I almost, because who is always closest, we think of last, because you are such a personality that we don't have to talk about you.
Ma'am, she was my mentor. She dragged me to the department for the first time. So if anyone has to be thanked for my interest, as all these young people said, what starts your interest in a subject? I think she's credited for telling me, throw all those rules away and do what's good for the people. That's what you told me, ma'am, once.
Thank you, Venkatesh.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jaya. Love you very much.
I think
Seeing
it's
you after a long
now.
time.
Yeah, I think we have come to the end of today's event, and so it's time for a formal
vote of thanks.
Yeah. So I think at the outset, I have to extend my thanks to Madam Dr. Girija Vaidyanathan and Madam Garyali for their presence here and participation in this event. I think both of you are a great source of inspiration for us, ma'am, and we would definitely go places with all your guidance and support. Thank you very much for being here, and we would definitely take all the suggestions that you made in your speech, madam. And I'm not sure if I should thank Dr. Jaya and Mr. Venkatesh, because They are almost part of SCARF, but still, as the chairperson and the co-chairperson of the jury, I think it's my duty to thank both of you for taking your time out despite a very, very busy schedule. I think this is not a very formal statement I'm making, because I know how difficult it was both at the personal level and at the professional level for both of you to take the time off to read all those articles that we sent you and to come up with a final selection. Thank you so much for your patience, and thank you so much for your continued support to SCARF in this regard. And I think I should thank the board of SCARF for always being supportive in organizing such events. And this whole thing would not have been possible without the participants who submitted their entries for the event. And so my heartfelt thanks to all of you who sent in your entries. And like Madam mentioned earlier, every one of you is a winner, because, and it is the cause that wins. The cause of mental health wins when every one of you think of writing about a story which focuses on mental health. So thank you once again, and please do continue participating. And it was such a wonderful audience who have been present. Of course, everybody is quiet because it's a virtual one. I think next time we would prefer to have a hybrid session so that there are more participants both physically and virtually. And the press, which has always been supportive to us, we thank you for all that continued patronage. And last but not the least, I have to mention and thank Ms. Shruti, who has been the person who has behind the smooth conduct of today's event, the technical person. I think, Shruti, you should show your face. Yeah, so thank you. So with that, I think this program comes to a close, and we will all hopefully meet in person in October 2022. Dr. Jaya, I'm setting the date. And so that we can have the next awards for the 21-22, 21 April to 22 March. That will be the time frame. We will announce the awards shortly. And so we all will leave now with the belief that good journalism will make the world a better place, especially in the field of mental health. Thank you very much, and have a good day.
Have a good day.